Hey guys, it's Heather the Crochet Witch. How are you guys doing today? Did you guys miss me? So, I know it's been a while. For those of you in the Facebook group, I slightly have an explanation. I'm going to save till the end because it's been a wild road since I've seen you last, you guys. I have quite a bit of catching up to do. Okay. It's probably going to be a long one. It's going to be a long catch up, which is probably going to be the name of this video. I thought I was composed before I started this. Okay. Grab a drink, grab a snack. I'll wait. No, really. So the last time I talked to you, I think I didn't go back and look in my videos, and my memory is quite foggy right now. But, which is crazy because, since I posted in the Facebook group, it's been at least a full 24 hours, if not more. I think somewhere in that area anyway, but, the excitement's still there. It doesn't help that I keep talking about it. But I mean, that's good. So when last we talked, I think I was in the middle of my fuzzy and nocturnal exploitations. Is that the right word? I hope so. Nothing dirty. I was following them around. And I think I had seen a couple shows and was kind of like in the middle. And then I was seeing a couple more shows. Well, needless to say, I did. And I said goodbye to them on, I think the last show I saw them on was November 4th, I think, it was technically in Wyandotte, Michigan, but I kept calling it Detroit. I remember I was scared to drive. I don't think I've talked to you since then. The drive was really easy. Damon and I went. Damon was trying to get me to go to another show that I thought was supposed to be St. Louis. And I was like, no, I cannot. I had like an hour and a half sleep before we drove because I worked the night before. Turns out it wasn't St. Louis. It was actually Ohio. But I was glad we didn't go because Ohio, Andy showed me pictures, and it was the general admission area. And if you like your concerts like this, everybody is entitled to like stuff the way I've been to concerts like this. There's nothing per se wrong with it, but it is not my preferred style. In Ohio, their general admission, where it's usually just an open area, they were all seated. And I was like, I wouldn't want to, that's not my jam. I want to be able to kind of mingle and mix around in with the crowd. Not so much like deeper in because I want to be up in front, but like, back and forth a little, choose my spot, get right up against the railing or the stage, depending on if it's open or not open. Some venues, very few these days, but some venues do let you get right up to the stage because the stage is like up high or there's like some speakers in the way. So it's not really like the stage itself or what have you, or at least up against like the railing. But yeah, some are like that, like as I said, or at least the railing part. But yeah, seats, not really my thing. So I'm glad I didn't put in the sleepless travel, to go there, especially when, like, in Wyandotte, we had, I hope I'm saying that right. There was a big debate between Nocturnal, Fozzie, all the crew, and then me. Damon, not so much. He didn't know how to pronounce it, and I don't want to say he didn't care, but he's not really big on, am I saying it right? Am I not saying it right? He was just like, but we were all trying to figure out the right way to say it. I think it's Wyandotte. But anyway, it's just south of, like, if you're from Michigan, we use our hand as maps. So like Detroit areas, say over here, it's just south of Detroit. Like just south. It's I'd say a suburb of Detroit. There's not a lot I don't want to say not a lot going on. It's a really nice little town, but it is a small town compared to like if you're thinking in terms of Detroit, you know. Unless I just didn't see, like maybe we were on the very outskirts of it or something. Maybe I didn't see what all it had to offer. They obviously had a big enough place to have a rock show at. So like my town doesn't have that. So they're bigger than us. But anyway, like we had such a nice night there, and we had just really nice like goodbyes and stuff, which I don't ever want to say goodbye to Fozzie or to the Nocturnal Affair, but like if you have to, we had a really nice, you know, goodbye and everything. So like, I cried multiple times. I cried during the show. I cried during several of the songs when Fozzie was on. I cried like 3 different times saying goodbye to Andy. You just, you know, it's hard to say goodbye to people that you know are going to be like across the country and everything, and you won't get to see them and for a while and everything, just, you know, when you're close to them and stuff. So I don't know. My grandma used to do that. I was making that comparison before. I really don't think I talked to you guys about this. I'm sorry if I'm repeating something, but I don't think we've talked since then. But she used to do that with family members, you know, like when they'd come up from other states and visit for like weeks or months at a time and go home, she would cry like for the next, like for that night or the next day or whatever. And I was like really little. I never really understood why, because I was like, just be glad they were here. But like, I understand now being older, like missing them. Cause yeah, I just get the sadness of it. But yeah, just an emotional thing. So yeah, we had our goodbyes, and, the guys all made it safe and sound. Fozzie, flew home, so they made it safe and sound before Nocturnal did. Andy got home, 3 days ago, cause they drove their breaking down van. They had some issues. I think I did mention that I almost ended up having to drive up to North Dakota. That would have been a crazy on my vacation drive to basically haul half the band, and then they still would have had to rent a U-Haul for the other 2 members, and then their stuff. It would have been wild. Very glad they found a car rental place along with the U-Haul place. But on the way back to their home, they had more van problems, but they got it fixed. On the way home, there wasn't, you know, shows to get to, so they weren't on they just stayed the night wherever it was and had somebody look at it. So they did make it home. Very glad for that. So Andy's going to assess it more and see what kind of fixing it needs, or if he needs to. It was his van, so that double sucks for him. See if he needs to look at getting a different van, or see if there's some kind of fix for it or whatnot. Like now that he's actually home and can make, you know, better decisions, better than just I need to get it on the road. What do I need to do for that? Yeah. So that happened. So that chapter ended, and I came back home to normal life, and then I realized, so getting back to our life, I realized that I never came back and did the last 2 sets of stitch markers. So let's do some yarny things. I did not open the last 2 stitch markers, or the last one from each set of stitch markers from Ellie. So I had her Halloween set, and so we're continuing Halloween too, right? Halloween set and a scary movie set. So let's open those. For Miss Ellie Leva. I will put her information again down below since we're talking about her, because I know she has other sets, and on her information, because I have like her Instagram and things like that too, she has previews of sets that she has. I keep saying things, but sets that she has. So let's do her Halloween, and she always wraps everything so cute. Like here's her pumpkins wrapped in jack-o'-lanterns. And I know it's a catch-up video, but it's going to be so randomly, like, everything's just going to be random around here this time. Because there's so many different things. Sorry about that, you guys. Oh, what's at the bottom? We have, get everything together here. There is a boo in the bottom, in case that doesn't show because it's long. It says made with love. And there is a jack-o'-lantern. That little dangly heart says made with love. That's so cute. Thank you, Ellie. That's the Halloween one. I'm actually going to put it on there right now so you can see my whole set. I mean, you won't be able to see everything separately and all, but you'll get an idea at least, you know, because she puts stitch marker holders. So there's the whole set with the holder. Here's what the holder looks like. I gotta be careful not to drop it because I decided while I was in here I was going to light my my candle from Bella. So I have my witch's brew candle lit right here. So I have to be very careful not to drop anything on it. But there's all the different stitch markers in the Halloween set, and it's festively decorated. And then the scary movie one. And then I'll have no more stitch markers because I did not order another set yet. And I have to get a hold of Ellie. Oh gosh. I didn't expect that. That's a big one. There is another little made with love. I'll just tell you that now because you're going to, it's going to be detracted from. Look at that. It's a giant eyeball. A giant bloodshot eyeball. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Thanks, Ellie. That's humongous. Oh my gosh. Let me put that on here. That's going to cover up half of them. Where can I put you? Someplace that is more sparse. Let's put you right here at the edge. Maybe it won't, ooh, maybe it won't cover up a bunch of them. So here is my scary movies set. There's my boy Jason right there. I love it. I love them. Thank you so much, Ellie. So like I said, her information is down below, so make sure you go check her out. I know she has Halloween. That was Halloween. I know she has holiday ones, Christmas ones and such. So check her out. I'm going to toss these right now before I end up setting them on fire. That would be bad. And I need a drink. I'm sorry, guys. I know it's rude. Oh, I'm getting dry throat really bad, probably because I've been excitedly fangirling so bad for the last few days. So bad. And then, see if I can get my timeline of events correct. David's birthday. We celebrated his birthday. You know, you kind of get to our age and you don't necessarily do, like, one year for my birthday, I actually went to a Fozzy concert. Or it was like it was the week of, I think. And then I did go to a Nocturnal concert it was by accident. They happened to pick up a concert and it was the day before my birthday. So like by the stroke of midnight, they were still playing and it was my birthday. But other than things like that, like we don't plan like big parties. We don't do anything like, we don't go out to do like extravagant things. We go to like our favorite restaurant or, you know, things like that. So we were in one of the cities nearby. He wanted to go to a store he wanted to go to. Usually it's like a Guitar World or a Guitar Center. I mean, it was a Guitar World. Was I right the first time? Guitar Center. One of the big guitar places. Usually it's something to do with music. But this time around, he's really gotten into his metalworking hobby. So he wanted to go pick up some stuff for that. So we went there to look at some things. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. And so we went there, and then we went out to eat. And which actually one of his favorite places to eat in that city is KFC. So he's like, I'm a cheap date. Why don't you take me to KFC? So we went there. And so we went there, and then he's like, well, while we're here, I know you've been wanting to go to Michael's. And I was like, I have, because I really want to get some macchiato cakes now that they got them back in stock. I don't know where that accent came from, but it was an accent of excitement, apparently. Now that they got them back in stock. I have been dying to get the Boundless color. Dying. On my birthday, Damon had taken me to get some yarn, and he got me the 2 Boundless that were in the store. We only had those 2, and I was like, I'll buy more online. And they had been sold out by the time I went to buy them online. They never got them back in. Well, they finally got them back in, and I had been wrestling with, I don't have the money, Fozzie's coming up, I don't have the money, blah, blah, blah. So I finally said, yes, I would, finally, I would like to go get them. They didn't have them in the store. So I didn't get them. But I did get, because I don't think the sale is going on now, because so David's birthday is November 6th, which is Stranger Things Day. For you who don't know, Stranger Things Day is November 6th because that is the day that Will Byers originally went missing in season 1. Thus dubbed Stranger Things Day. I'm a bit of a Stranger Things nerd. I'm just saying. Anyway, so he has to share that with the holiday. He's not thrilled. But I told him, at least I'll always remember your birthday. I remembered it before, but so what I did get, anyway, was a different macchiato cake color that I have been debating on getting a lot. I wanted it online, and I put it in my cart, and I took it out. And I put it in my cart, and I took it out. I'm always putting stuff in my cart and then taking it back out because of, like, trying to make the cart total less, right? And then I'll fiddle with the numbers. I'm like, okay, I don't need this many. And then I'll like take all of it out but one, because I'll be like, I'm not actually going to buy anything, but I want one of each of these in the cart. So I remember that later, if I have money, if I've used enough yarn to buy some more yarn, like to feel that I've been good enough to buy some yarn, then I can buy, I'll remember that I want to buy these. Which, by the way, this thinking is what got me in trouble with the Boundless. So I never got them when they sold out. But regardless, I kept moving the numbers around, taking them in my cart, saving them for later. I never got them. And the fact that I missed out on getting the Boundless again, and the fact that these were in the store, and there was a lot of them. There was what, I've said a million times, even though I make blankets all the time, I'm awful at estimating how many of anything I need for anything. So like, I'm always like, oh my God, just buy them all, buy a ton of them. That's why I end up with a ton of yarn and have extras to give away later, is because I'll make a blanket and then still have extras to give away. So I bought what they had, but I bought, the colorway Serenity in the macchiato cakes. Macchiato cakes. For those of you unfamiliar with these gorgeous, beautiful, wonderful cakes, these are what I made the design from Fiber Spider when I tested his spider web pattern. I made them with the color Bewitched. But I had my eye on these because these greens just look like such a vintagey color, because there's almost like a brown green mixed in here. There's like a really light green, like a sandy brownish green, And then there's like a really almost like a creamy white green color. It's beautiful. Take a look up close. So aren't those just beautiful? And they're so soft. And I'm really sorry for those who can't have wool, because I'm very certain there's wool in here. Yeah, it's 80% acrylic, 20% wool. And they do call this a bulky 5. It's a roving style. And here's the general thickness of it. It might be like a light 5. It's kind of like scarfy. In my opinion, this is actually very scarfy-ish. Like, I would have no problem treating it as a 4-weight yarn or a light 5, like a 5-ish yarn. It's not terribly thick. There's a lot of areas where it's kind of a 4-ish weight yarn. I'm sure there's a few areas, like some people have said it's a 3. It's not a 3. I'm sure there's a few areas where it does get a kind of thin. It's not terribly thin. The nature of roving, of course, is that it does get a little thin. It does get a little thick. Like, I'm sure somewhere out there's probably a cake that has some crazy spin in it where there's a thick, like, egg in it, but it doesn't make it a, you know, a 6 or a 7. In general, like, it's got a thicker spin in that area, but it's not a thin yarn. It's just a pretty much medium yarn, in my opinion. Like I said, it's an 80-20 blend, which is pretty close, if not the same as Scarfy. I don't have my Scarfy here anymore. I moved it upstairs to make a pretty rainbow wall of Scarfy. Let me see the other details on this. I already told you it's called Serenity. It is hand wash and lay flat to dry. Although at some point I do plan to make a swatch of it and test that theory, because I want to make a blanket with this, and I don't plan to hand wash and lay that flat to dry. It is 8 ounces, which is 227 grams. It is 481 yards, which is 440 meters. It was made in India. And I will say too that I don't know if macchiato cakes are here to stay. I don't know if they are limited time. A lot of the stuff that Karen puts out for Michael's does have like a little somewhere here or here limited time circle, but a lot of them also have another circle or a price somewhere, and this one does not. So is it a manufacturing detail? I don't know. Is it limited time? I don't know. Are they testing it out to see if it's like well received and then they're going to keep it or not? I don't know. I hope it's here to stay, because love it. I love these. These are easily one of my favorite cakes that, you know, Michael's carries that Karen has ever made. I love these. I love them. I want more Boundless so bad. I really need them to restock it. I have 2, but I would love to make a blanket or attempt, like, hoard it until I'm ready to attempt to make a sweater or something. I love it. I think it's so beautiful. I know a lot of people out there share my sentiment, because I'm sure that's why it's gone. I've heard a lot of people on YouTube talk about it and talk about how much they love it. So I know people do share my sentiment. But I think this one is going to make a beautiful blanket. I think I will love it. I love all of them. I really wouldn't mind getting like blanket quantities of all of these. I love them all. I think they're beautiful. They have not made one yet that I don't like. I love the feel of them. I love working with them. I love them. I love them. They're beautiful. So yeah, I ended up getting, I think, let me see here. Oh, I didn't talk about that yet. I got, let's see, there's 4 in here, which I'm not going to show you each individual one. I will say, I even got the one that was a little bit wonky. I was going to leave him behind. And then I was like, no, you know what? I can fix him. I can fix him. It'll be okay. So I can push it down. It's just the outside little ring thing, because who knows if they're going to stop selling them or sell out or something bad, and I don't have enough to make a blanket. Who knows? So I figure I'll use the wonkier one first, so that if I do end up giving some away, it won't be this one. But yeah, I even got the wonky one. So I got 1, 2, those 4 make 6, and then this guy is 7. So I think I got 7 of them. And I know at the beginning of my tirade, I started saying something about a sale. The sale that I don't think is on anymore was buy one at regular price, get one 50% off. And I even got the one that the label was not sticking to. And then Maverick helped me out and ripped another label off because I had left it too close. He was in his kennel, and I left the bag too close, and one fell onto his kennel, and it was unraveling. Like the edge of it was unraveling. So he started unraveling it out, and in the process ripped the label off, and he started just unraveling the string out before David caught him. So he didn't swallow anything. He was just being mischievous. He wasn't trying to eat it or anything. I'm sure that would have came later. So thankfully David caught him. But so yeah, so I have 2 with the labels popped off. I have one that was rewound on the outside, like rewound back up by David. I have a wonky one, so those will all be used like first. And then I have, you know, the other 4 are normies. They're normals. And then to go with those, I found one Bewitch. So the same stats, but this one is called Bewitch. And I have others of these. What I wanted the Boundless, which they had none of, and I wanted more Bewitch. I would have been happy with just those 2 colors. But I almost didn't find this. Somebody had shoved this in with the Karen Cloud Cakes, I think. It was the Cloud Cakes. And this was just shoved all the way in the back. And I found it, and I was like, I have to have that. I have to. So I grabbed this guy. I love all the colors in it. This just looks like a Halloween sunset to me. With all the beautiful purples and the pink and then the orange. It's so pretty. This is the colorway that I made the fiber spider blanket out of, actually. It's so pretty. And then, so those 2 made 8. So that was an even number on the sale. And then, I don't know how we mathed. Like I was using Heather math. Because really I ended up not really needing to get either one of these. But I told David if they had the anniversary cakes in the color that I had wanted, that was not sold online anymore, which was, I want to say it's called like Tulip Garden or Tulip Tree or Tulip Bark or something like that. It's like a cream with like purple. It also looks like a sunset to me almost. It's like purple and orange and like a cream. It's very, very pretty. I really wanted that, and they sold it online. Like I never saw it in the stores. In my stores, I never saw it. Was never in any of them. Only one of my Michaels even had anniversary cakes this time, which was the one we were at. And in fact, I only saw 2 colors there ever, and it obviously wasn't that one. And they sold out online like so fast. If they restocked, I missed it every time. And I told him if they had that, I needed to get it because I loved it and I wanted it really bad. Like in years past, I always tried to get, well, the second year, I wanted to get like all the anniversary cakes. I don't think I ever did, but I wanted to. And then the first year I got 2 colors. I just got multiples of them. And last year I think I only got 1 or 2 colors. I think that was last year. Because this is the 4th year they've had them, right? Am I remembering things right? I don't know. My brain's foggy, I promise. Well, this year I had gotten 2 of the rainbowy ones, and that's what I saw again. So I got another one because I told him 2 should make a pretty big blanket, but remember, I can't estimate anything. So 3 would make a really big one, right? Or 3 of them would make 2 pretty good sized ones. I don't know. I don't know yet, but it didn't hurt to have another one. Because this is very rainbowy. Like, every year they have them, they're almost rainbowy, right? Like, the one year they had one that was like a dark rainbow. I was calling it like a Technicolor rainbow. And I know I got some of that. And it was mostly rainbow. But, like, this one is just dead on rainbow, right? It's so pretty. So it just couldn't hurt to have it. I love it. It's beautiful. So I got it. And it was on the buy one, get one 50% off sale now. And I'm aware that they charge the full price for the biggest one. So I know I got charged full price for that, but I was insane, and it is what it is. So I needed to get one more thing just to get it 50% off because Heather logic. So I got one more macchiato cake. And I got one that I've never had before also, which was the color Breathe, which is another beautiful one. Because again, there isn't one that I don't like. It's got these beautiful colors that I know Bella would really love this if she could only have it because of the wool. I'm sorry, Bella. But it's really pretty. And it's got these different blues in it. And then this beautiful, like almost brownish gray. And it's got this really pretty lavendery pink. I feel like it's coming across a little more pink than it really is, but it is a really light color. It's very pretty. I really, really, really like it. And I feel like I will probably end up getting more of it. I would like to anyway. We'll see. We'll see how it goes, because I, for some reason, made an exception for the macchiato cakes, but I shouldn't have, because money and space and yeah. Anyway, so that was all. No, it was not all the shopping, the yarn shopping I did. I bought one other thing, which wasn't a whole lot. I need another drink. One moment. Sorry. I bought something on eBay. Just a little something. Just a little. I think we had been talking about stuff, so I went and looked. Just to browse, just to see what they had. It's been a while, you know. So I did. Make sure I'm not giving away any addresses. And I found this for like, this auction for like $4, you guys. $4. I think it was like $4 and some change. And the shipping was really reasonable. Like, usually if you find something for $4, the shipping is like, they're trying to ask for like, I don't know, $16 or something to make the whole thing work, you know, like $20. No, the shipping was like $4 also, or something like that. Let me see if it says on here. I don't know if they write the price on here anymore or not. I don't think they do. If they usually do, they didn't this time. So anyway, doesn't matter. The shipping was reasonable. And I had this color already. But you know what? Having more doesn't hurt of this color because it is so vintage. I'm in love with this. I'm in love with it. It doesn't hurt. And 2, if any of you watched my vintage hauls that I've done, you'll know how upset I was, because this is the one time that I did it. When I say, I don't like to open things like this on camera, like cut it open, I mean, on camera, because I eventually will cut some yarn and I will cry. And I did. I cut it. I snipped it. Do you know what color it is then? I got vintage yarn. I got vintage yarn. I got Leewards. Leewards. Leewards, America's Homecraft Center ombre yarn. Made with 100% DuPont Orlan. Ciel knitting worsted type yarn. And it is in the color orange. Orange. Something faded. It almost looks like it says orange ord. Let's get out a different one. Because they're all the same. Orange. I'm dumb. OMB, because it's orange ombre. I don't know if you can see that or not. Are you going to focus? It's orange ombre. The M is just faded. But it is in these beautiful colors that could only be from the 70s, maybe the early 80s. Look at these colors. So gorgeous. Oh my gosh. I want to say, have you ever seen anything so gorgeous? But I know that not everybody shares my love for this. But let me tell you, when I say I have rarely seen anything this gorgeous in my life. So pretty. Except for that right there, which is the same. Actually, nope, it's the same. Yeah. Gorgeous. They're like neatly, my vintage yarns are next to me, but they're in this neat like little stacked tower next to my shelf. So if I pull them out, they're all going to fall down right now. But I want to pull it out. I'm not going to do it right. I'll compare them later. I'm not going to do it because I'm going to cause an avalanche is what I'm going to do. There is a stick. There's a stick on my yarn. I freaked out for 1 second because I seriously thought it was a bug and I just had that on my face. It was just a stick. Oh my god. So this came with, this is why it enticed me a little bit too, which I don't know why it did. I don't know why this enticed me. I mean, the color also, for this price. So basically with the shipping, it was under $10. So there's 3 full skeins. Look at this beautifulness. Tell me that's not beautiful vintage. Oh, I love it. Love that. Plus this envelope, this is not empty yet. So what they said in the thing, oh, there's a card too. I didn't see that before, did I? Oh yeah, I did. I tucked it back in there. It's just a little thank you card. The thank you card even looks vintage. Look at that. Doesn't that look something straight out of like the 70s? It just says thank you, and inside they put thanks so much, which is really nice. You're welcome so much, eBay seller. But they had put 3 full unused skeins. Plus, I forgot how they worded it, but basically they said a used jumble. They worded it nicer. But this is what also, this is what also came with it. Was, this part's kind of unused. They knotted it so that it didn't continue coming apart, like a big loose knot. And that's here. And then there's kind of like yarn barf. Some of it you could, like if I start to unravel it, some of it is kind of still loosely skeined up. I don't want to like disturb it too bad until I go to actually, it's like it fell apart in pieces, if that makes sense, like in thick ribbons from the inside. So it might not be too bad to, it's not knotted, and I just don't want to disturb it too badly. Because I think it's me who hates to unscramble yarn like that. I still think it's not going to be too hard to put into a ball. You know what I mean? I think I can do it. And I think for this beautiful color, it'll be worth it. And I can do this. I can do it. So that's what I bought from eBay, and I love it. And I'm very excited, and it doesn't have a bad smell. It doesn't have, you know, because sometimes you gotta worry about that. I've been really lucky. I haven't bought anything off eBay that's been It's been bad. I'm really lucky. So that was my yarn purchases. Nothing over the top. Shouldn't have bought all the macchiato cakes, but and also I have to text Bella because in my insanity, Bella that I keep mentioning, by the way, is Bella's Crochet Gifts, that I should also link down below, because she and I are doing a 12 days of Christmas swap, and I can't show you the front because addresses, but this was also received actually the day that I left to, like, this showed up at my door. Literally, I was scrambling to get stuff to put in the car to go to work. I went to work and then left to go to Detroit to go to the hotel. And I'll have to tell you in a second, but my next adventure that I'm about to tell you about, this was delivered the day of. So my life has been crazy since that moment. I have to text Bella and tell her that it got here. But this is the part I had to pre-tell you about because this arrived. And I have to text her, tell her it was here. Did I already tell her it was here? I'll have to check my text messages. Oh my gosh, my mind is, I'm telling you, like, since the Fozzie craziness, my brain has been in like this fog and it hasn't gotten any better. And this weekend's events has just made things so much worse fog-wise in my head. Like, I would never trade it, not for a million years, not for anything, but it hasn't made my memory any better, I can tell you that. So anyway, if I haven't, I have to let her know that it got here, and I have to put hers together and get it sent out because, like, I was telling her, like, oh my gosh, like, I haven't gotten yours together, and like, when she was saying she sent it, you know, I was like, I haven't gotten yours together or anything, and she's saying that, like, she was getting overwhelmed by things too, so, like, it helped her out to sort through, like, things and get her stuff done. And, like, with me, I procrastinate, so which is bad. She's handling things the right way. I am handling them the wrong way. So I need to get my stuff together and get her stuff together and send it out. So that came. Now hers needs to go out. I also realized today that I know. Remember my whole spiel about how I was getting my act together and getting the Great Fiber Cake-Off drawings to, you know, back on track? I just realized that I never drew October, so I'm going to need to do that tonight. I'm blaming the brain fog. At least I didn't wait till the end of the month like I thought I did last time. But I will get that done. Oh, you guys. Okay. All right. So we're already 40 some minutes in. So I think that's everything else leading up to this moment. But if you are on my Facebook group, you already saw this. But I had tickets so Comic-Con Detroit was held in, I don't know if you pronounce it Novi or Novi. I've always, my whole life, pronounced it Novi, Michigan. My boss pronounced it Novi and asked if that was right, and she thought it was, and I said, I don't know, it's Novi, is what I thought. So there was a debate. So for anybody who knows, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm going to say Novi in case it comes up again. So sorry if I'm incorrect. But so it was, Comic-Con Detroit was held in Novi. And okay, I did not tell Bella. Literally, she just texted me. And I just saw, like, I didn't read the whole thing because it went by too fast. But I just saw her say something to me. That's funny as I was recording this. Anyway, hi, Bella. I had gotten 2 tickets. David was working, so I was taking Damon with me. because David Harbour was at Comic-Con. Now, really quickly, for those of you who are newer to the channel, first of all, welcome. Second of all, something you may realize already, or you may get to realize, is that I am a huge Stranger Things nerd. You're going to hear a lot of Stranger Things things on this channel. Yarn, yes, but Stranger Things also. You've probably already noticed a lot of Stranger Things here on this channel. Yeah. And the main strangeriest thing for me is Hopper. David Harbour is life. I love that man. I have loved him since I first saw him. Hopper only made that love deeper. Like, I love him. So, like, quite literally, I told Damon, I said, I've spent all my money with Fozzie and Nocturnal. I have to go see David Harbour, though. I'm literally have no money to do anything at Comic-Con, including eating or anything. We are going to be walking in there. I said, you can walk around. You can do whatever you want. You can stick with me if you want to, and you can meet him because I can bring a guest in. To the things, but I said my plan is, with or without you, walk through those doors, go to David Harbour for, autograph or picture, whatever happens first, do the other one after that, and leave. We can eat cheaply before and or after and go home. That's it. Like, I don't have money to walk around. I don't have money to buy anything. I don't have money to do things. Like, if you don't want to go meet David Harbour, you can look around all you want, but that's it, and I'm going to be really tired because we're working the day before and I want to go home. I've traveled so much. I miss Maverick and Otis. I had promised them no more trips unless something crazy happens, like no more trips this year, because I want to stay home with my boys. So I want to get back home. And he agreed. He basically, Damon just likes, just get out of the house and go along for the ride. He really was up for whatever, and he didn't care. Like, he's such a good sport about stuff like that. So it's all good. So that was the plan. And we worked the day before. I worked half the day. So and he did too. Obviously, because he went with me. So we worked half the day. We left. And okay, the night before, so Thursday night, my headlight went out and I was like, oh no, I already have no money. Let me go buy headlights. So David changed the headlights for me. Then the day of, I went to work and came home, took care of the boys. I happened to get home as David was leaving for work, kissed him goodbye. And David said, your tires have been getting, like, losing air pressure, like nothing major, just needing airing up and stuff. So why don't you air up now, or go check them before you leave, and then you won't have to stop anywhere. So we went to go check them, and Damon got out and checked them, and he's like, so we just aired these up last week when we went to see Fozzie, and they're already all low. You really need to get new tires. And I was like, I know, he gives me the speech every time. So I was like, I know. And then he took a closer look at my tire that's lower all the time. And he's like, so you have a hole in the wall of your tire. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, look. And there was a hole in the wall of my tire. And I was like, great. I can't go to Detroit like this. So I shoot David a text because at this point, of course, he's already at work. So David is like, take my car. Well, I'm scared to take David's car, partially because I don't want to wreck anything in his car because it's new. It's new to me. It's a new car. And he has an actual new car. Well, here's Heather, stuck in the 80s Heather. I told him if it had been like an 85 Thunderbird or something, just pulling out of nothing, but if it had been an 85 Oldsmobile, I would have been fine because, it's like an old car. It's a new car with like a little navigation screen and, a monitor basically. And I'm like, oh no, I can't do this. Which sounds dumb to all of you who are not scared of things like that. But I have never even though it's my husband's car, I have never even got behind the wheel of it. So I'm like, to get behind the wheel of it, to drive down the highway, and to make matters worse, I was on a time limit or a timer because this was the first hotel. I'm sure this is normal, but any hotel I've been to doesn't care when I check in. As long as I check in before the checkout time of, 11 in the morning or whatever, they don't care. I called this one just to, be sure. Like, I was like, just so you know, I know I'm not getting like a full night's stay there or anything, but I'm going to be pretty late getting in. And they didn't ask what time I was coming, anything like that. They said, well, you have till 2 in the morning. And I'm like, that's pushing it because I really thought, I may end up at like 3 in the morning there. So I was already like rushing. So I'm even more like stressed out, anxiety. And finally I'm like, okay, I'll take your car. But I'm scared. And it ended up, by the way, being absolutely fine. I'm no longer scared of his car at all. But I was. So we decide, even though it takes longer, I'll still make it in time. I'm going to drive the back roads so I can get used to the car. So I'm not stressed out by the construction on the highway. It'll be fine. And that's what we did. And the drive was absolutely fine. Damon and I were fine. It was fine. So no stressing Heather out, no nothing after that point. David was wonderful for, trading cars with me. Everything was fine. So we got there. The room was really nice. It was really nice. In part because all the hotel rooms were booked before I could get there. Or before, I booked it late, I'm saying. And I had wanted to get the hotel closest to the Comic-Con because I didn't know how big of an area it was. I didn't want to be, I was really worried. I've been to Dragon Con with my ex-husband, and I've been to Gen Con with my ex-husband, if you're familiar with what those are. I have never successfully made it to a guest, if we've gone to see someone, I'm going to see David Harbour. I've never successfully made it to that guest spot by myself. I've always relied on my ex-husband or whatever friend we're going with. And now we were relying on me, So I was very worried. I didn't understand the way the website was worded. It was talking about getting your bracelet because I didn't buy the tickets in time to get them shipped to me. So they're talking about getting your bracelet and then getting your ticket. And I'm like, are tickets and bracelets the same thing? And I ended up, my friend Joe, the one I've talked about on this channel before, who owns the comic book shop, he ended up explaining it to me about getting your bracelets when you turn in the tickets at the door and all that. It worked out fine. I'm actually still, because they're plastic and I can shower with it, I'm actually still wearing this is my Comic-Con bracelet. But I was very, just little things, anxiety. And so I was worried about that. I was worried about finding the place from the hotel. I was worried about basically overthinking every single thing that I could overthink. And it all turned out fine. When you're worried and overthink things and then look back on it and go, what was I worried about? That was me. That's me now. But I people at work and stuff, were like, you go see Fozzie all the time or, Nocturnal all the time. So what are you worried about? And in part I was because I know that if I'm driving to go see them, and I don't know, like get lost or get in trouble, like somewhere close to the venue or something, like I know that there's like a whole road crew that they could send someone to find me, you know, like in the city or something. They do stuff like that all the time. Like one time I went to go get the bus driver out of the hotel because he got stuck in the bathroom. I went to go rescue him for them. Like they would help me because I can, you know, when am I going to get a hold of David Harbour and ask him to send someone to find me? I can't do that. I wish I had that kind of connection. But I mean, it's not the same thing. So like I feel secure when I'm going to see somebody I know, you know what I mean? So it was just a big like worry, I guess. It was an anxiety thing. But oh my gosh, I'm so glad I did. I'm so happy that I went. I'm so happy. We got to the hotel. The man who ran the hotel was so nice. So nice. I parked David's car with no problem. I was so proud of myself. No problem at all. Checked in. He was so nice. He like explained the whole checkout time thing, explained the times at the continental breakfast, which I mean, he didn't have to go over all that. You know, I've never had anybody actually go over all that. They're just kind of like, here, especially if you arrive in the middle of the night, you know, and like, he wished me a good night. Like, he's like, I hope you enjoy your stay and have a really good night. And he's just a nice person, you know? So it was like a really enjoyable, like beginning of my stay, you know? And, because it was a suite, I've never stayed in a suite before, you guys. They had, like a really nice, it was one bed. So like, and luckily a really nice couch with a, not a bed part, but like, you know, like a foot part for Damon, because he got the couch. So we could lay out on it and everything though. So like there was like a really, really nice bed, a really, really nice like couch area to lay on. And then there was like a whole like kitchenette, like with an oven and a stove, like one of those little mini ones. There was a whole bathroom and then like a separate sink area. It was like a mini apartment. It was, you guys probably think I'm crazy because some of you guys that have been and seen that and stuff, I've never been in one. It was so fancy. It was nice. I wish I had taken like video of it, but I was so tired. In fact, like we got in and Damon wanted to take a shower that night. And he was like, do you want to take a shower after me? And I was like, no, actually, I said, not to be rude, but I have to drive tomorrow. I'm hoping that I can be asleep by the time you get out, because if I don't fall asleep before he does, I will not fall asleep because he snores really loud. I won't, whether I snore or not, sorry, but he doesn't have to drive and I do. So sorry, Damon. But his feelings weren't hurt by it. He's okay. Plus I had to be well rested. I was meeting David Harbour the next day. So, but no, and then, you know, I got up the next morning and got ready, and another thing too, like they didn't have just some little, the shower didn't have like little things like this of soap. They had full things of soap that were in holders in the wall. It was like full thing of shampoo, full thing of conditioner, full thing of body wash. Fancy. It was nice. It was nice. No, it was a really nice, and their continental breakfast was like 3 times bigger than any kind of continental breakfast I've ever seen at any hotel I've ever been to. It was insane. It was crazy. It was amazing. Like, it was such a good, the hotel itself was amazing. You know, I could go on about that place, and I was only in it for what, like 6 hours. So then we get to Comic-Con. Anyway, enough about the hotel. We get to Comic-Con. We ended up, finding it very easy, finding the parking very easy, which is another thing I was concerned about. The parking was so easy, and it was like literally attached to the place. We got in the building easy with no problems. The ticket did. We got our wristband from the ticket, like Joe said, so it was no problem at all. We went in, And the way we went in, there was a bunch of booths, you know, vendors selling things and everything. And we were looking around, and I immediately told Damon, like, we need to ask somebody, like, do they either have like maps of where, you know, people are, or could he tell us where David Harbour is? And so Damon asked the guy that actually was right by the door. And I don't think he knew who David Harbour was, but which is funny because he was like the main guest, but he pointed us to where all the celebrities were, so good enough. So we go over, and there was immediately this big, we looked around and I said, well, I can tell you right now, I said, look for Hopper cosplayers, or he'll be where the biggest crowd is, surely, you know? So we look around, and there was a huge crowd. So I kind of walk up, and nervously, I asked the lady that was gathering, you know, like putting people into a line. And I was like, is this the David Harbour photo op? Well, she didn't hear me say photo op. And she's like, yeah, are you prepaid? And I said, yes. And she's like, you're my last one. Stand right here. So I'm like, okay, you know. So I'm all excited. I'm like, well, what's the chances of this? I show up right away and, you know, like just made it. So I'm standing there, and she started letting other people in behind me, even though I was the last one. So I didn't understand what was going on. And I was like, well, maybe I was the last prepaid, but she was letting other people pay. I didn't understand what was going on at all. Like, I still don't fully understand, because I think the people behind me were prepaid also. But then I started noticing people had things to sign. And I was like, are you in line for the photo op or the autograph? And the lady behind me was like, this is the autograph line. And I was like, oh no. And she's like, did you ask for the photo op line? And I said, I did, but maybe she wasn't fully listening. You know, like maybe she heard David Harbour and thought that's what I was asking about. And I said, oh no. And she's like, what's wrong? You not have anything to sign? And I said, I do, but my friend has it. And Damon had decided, even though I could have brought him with me, he decided David Harbour's my thing, and he wanted to walk around and look at the vendor stuff while I was there. So he was walking around carrying my book because he thought I was at the photo ops. So she goes, I'll hold your spot. Go get him. So I took off and thanked her, took off. And he wasn't far by then. So I grabbed my book and come back, and I thanked her, obviously. And we stood there, and they had us go in a line like this, just back and forth, weaving in, right? And we were there, oh my gosh, I bet we were there 2 hours, probably about 2 hours. Because I think David Harbour had shown up. He was in basically this tent area, so you couldn't see in it at all. And then, because they don't want people taking pictures of him at the autograph thing. They only want you to take pictures, they don't want you to take pictures at all. They only want pictures taken of him if you pay for the photo op, because that's the business, right? So they don't want pictures taken of him, so they enclose him in this tent almost. And so you're waiting in line, kind of zigzagging. And so about 2 hours, and I'm starting to do the math, right? And I was texting my friend Dean, because this whole time too, I'm thinking, and I had been thinking for days, I was like, what am I going to say to him? Because you get a couple of minutes to make a little bit of small talk with him, right? Not long, but you have to say something, and then, something, and he'll probably respond, and then that's, about it, but something. So what am I going to say to him? So I had been talking to Dean about this, and then I texted Dean, and I said, it's taken this X amount of time to go through X amount of people. I don't think, I said, his photo op A is at noon. his photo op B, which I'm in, is at noon 15. So he's going to go from one to the other. And I was like, I'm by the time I get up there, he's going to have to start his photo ops. I'm not going to get into the autograph thing, and I'm going to have to leave the line. I was like, that's going to suck. He's been waiting this whole time for the autograph. And so I waited it out, and finally my line zigzagged in. So I was literally against the tent, like we could hear him talking, and I was just like, oh, I can hear him, I was so excited. And we make our way up, and there was one guy to go in front of the guy in front of me was next. And I heard him say, cut the line. I was like, please tell me they mean cut the line later. And the lady comes, and this lady was so nice that was letting people in, she goes, I'm really sorry, but he's taking a break to go do the photo ops. And I was like, the lady behind me had the same photo op, the lady that had let me go get my book. And I said, we're in the photo ops also. And I said, are we going to be able to come back to the front of the line? And she's like, I don't have a way to let you back in the front. Because she's working the desk. She can't just stand in the line for us, right? That would be bad policy, right? And I was like, oh, this sucks. And she was like, I'm really sorry. And I said, I feel like if I was watching myself, there would have been like a light bulb over my head, right? And I was like, if I am allowed to have a friend come in with me to the autographs, I was like, see the doofusy looking guy in the hat over there? Because Damon had came back and was standing against the wall. And she's like, yeah. And I said, he's with me. And I said, could he stand in line right here while I go to the photos and hold my spot? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, and I can come back here then? And she's like, yeah. And the lady behind me was like, could they hold my spot? And I just looked at the lady, and she was like, they could. And I was like, I would hold your spot, because she was nice, and I never got her name, but she was nice and let me go get my book. And, she could see how nervous I was to begin with, and she was nice to me and stuff. And so I was like, I would hold your spot. So I'm waving frantically to get Damon's attention. And he comes over, and I explained to him, I said, I told her the doofus guy was my friend, and could you wait, here? And she said, yes. And he's like, okay. He's like, so I have to stand here? I'm like, you were standing against a wall anyway, so would you stand here? And he said, yes, he's was just giving me a hard time. So he stood there, and we rushed off to the photo ops. And so we stood in line at the photo ops. We actually stood in line together at the photo ops. The lady and her kid were in front of me since I was in front of them at the autographs. And so they went in first, and they had one photo with him. I actually had 2 photo op tickets because I had been so worried about not being able to find him in time for the noon photo op. And I had been so freaking out that David was like, well, if they added a 6 p.m. photo op and you're that worried, would it be worth the peace of mind to just get one for 6 o'clock? And he's like, that way, if you don't find it, you'll find it in time for 6. And if you do find it, you'll have 2 pictures. And I was like, yes. And he's like, do it then. So I had 2. And the lady that was scanning, your tickets for that was like, oh, you have 2 photos. And I said, yeah, but one of them's for 6 o'clock tonight, which I was already like, oh, I have to wait around for 6 hours. And I didn't have money, because they only wanted to take cash at the events. So I was like, I didn't have money for food. I didn't want to leave the event. And she goes, did you want to do them both now? And I was like, can I? Because yeah, I would love that. And she's like, yeah, you can do them both now. So she let me do both of them at the same photo shoot. So I was really happy standing there waiting in line. And we had to wait our turns, obviously, to go in this other little tent area. And we go in, and there's David Harper. Sorry, I am totally fangirling right now. Still. And I was trying, because he'll do, some celebrities won't do poses, apparently. Like, I don't know exactly which ones, but I've heard stories about the ones that will only just, like, put their arm around you and that's that. They won't do poses. And I had been trying to think of, like, cool poses. I couldn't think of anything exceptionally cool that I wasn't too, like, embarrassed to ask. But I asked him when I went in. I was like, is it okay if we, like, just, like, a big hug? And he was like, yeah, of course. So, sorry for the ring glare. Big hug. It's gonna glare no matter what I do. I will try to also insert at the end, I will insert the digital, because I got digital ones too. And I did, like, I hate the way I look in these, because it is, like, the most it's like, the most unflattering angle possible, I think. But, yeah, I still love the picture more than anything. So, he's like, of course. And so, yeah, big hug. And then I was like, actually, I got 2 pictures. So I was like, can we do, like, a cheek-to-cheek picture? And he was like, yeah, let's do it. So I got to feel his whiskers on my face, and I was like, oh, I love you, David Harbour. I love you so much. So I was, like, so excited. I love him. I love him. And I thanked him, and I knew I was going to see him again at the autograph signing, and which I should have taken Seth up on. Seth was like, my friend Seth was like, if you want, I will buy you for your Christmas present a second autograph signing, and you can get something else signed, and that would get you in longer to see him. And I should have done it, but I had been, like, crazy watching, because I've never done a Comic-Con before, so I had been, like, crazily obsessing, like, looking up videos of people's Comic-Con experiences, and some people had been buying autograph things at Comic-Cons for the guy that plays Vecna, Jamie Campbell Bower, I think his name is, and Comic-Con had overbooked him, and he had, like, a plane to catch or something, and he had, like, 15 minutes to sign, like, a ton of people. Like, some people just didn't get their autographs signed. I'm like, well, what happens then? Like, what if you just don't get your stuff signed? So I was so worried about it. I told Seth, I was like, no, let me just, I'd be so upset if I wasted his money, so, but I should have. Anyway. Yeah, I was totally creepery too, because, like, when you leave there, you walk around, and because, like, I, like, set my jacket down and stuff to, like, go in there and, get my picture taken and stuff. So I go collect my jacket, and then you go collect your pictures, like, your physical pictures, and then you go back out and you can do, like, whatever you want. Like, in my case, I went to go back in line, to meet Damon and stuff. And I literally, like, grabbed my jacket, and I was texting my friend Dean, and I was like, he even smells so good. I am such a creeper. Anyway, so he's so nice, he was so nice. And he's tall. He's so tall. I knew he was tall already, but I mean, just standing next to him, I mean, you see in the pictures, like, that was him, like, kind of bending down so that we could cheek to cheek. He couldn't even cheek to cheek me. He cheek to foreheaded me. I love him so much. So we stand back in line. And I had brought my Stranger Things novel, my Hopper Stranger Things novel. So this is about, if you're not familiar with the novels, I mean, they're like actual novels. They're not the graphic novels. See, they're like actual words. They are, this one's about like Hopper's time as a detective. Sorry if you can hear Otis. I don't know what he's going crazy about in there. This is about Hopper's time in New York City as a detective before he moved back to Hawkins. So like when he was married and when they had their little girl and stuff too. You know, I love my Hopper. And I was waiting to get in, and I actually thought it was going to be quite a wait again because they have a VIP line, which I didn't know there was VIP, or I don't know if I would have sprung for that, because I'm sure I would have thought like, I don't mind waiting, you know, as long as I get to see him, because I'm cheap and I have no money. But there was a little VIP line, and before the line had gotten cut off for the photo ops, they had basically let, you know, the VIP line had dwindled, because the idea of it is like, come whenever you want, and like you basically just skip the line and they'll let you in as like the next person. Well, by then, the VIPs that had came later on, you know, that line had collected again. So I was like, oh, they're going to let in, you know, it'll be like 20 more people to let in before they start letting us in. So I assumed we would be waiting quite a while. And like we were waiting there too. And there was a guy that was like in the line behind us. It was like so rude. He was like standing there. And so after the photos is apparently when they had scheduled David to go have lunch. And I was surprised because I guess I kind of assumed, which I'm not judging, I kind of assumed they would feed him like there, like I guess like in his little tent area. Not to keep him at the convention to make him eat the convention food, but like to basically keep him away from people as much as possible, to not have him walking in and out with the people, I guess is what I assumed. Or like I assumed they'd bring him food from a restaurant or something. But no, they took him out, so he was like off the grounds basically. And I mean, when they do that, a lot of things could happen, you know. He could have gotten stuck in traffic. The restaurant could have been slow. Like, who knows, you know? And I think something like that happened because they were saying they expected him back at like a certain time. And it was like a half hour later after that still that they were just like, oh, he's on his way back now. And the guy behind us was just like complaining. And he was like, oh, I guess... he goes, I guess Comic-Con and taking pictures really takes a lot out of him. He's already got to take a break or something. And I was kind of like, and he's like, yeah, 4 whole hours and he has to rest or something, huh? And he's like, oh, not even 4 hours for him, only 2.5. And he's like, he needs to get here now. I'm like, who are you, first of all? Who are you to like tell David Harbour what he needs to do and what schedule he needs to do? Like, shut up. Like, don't be talking about my future husband like that. I was so mad. Like, that's so rude though, you know? Like, you don't have to stand in a line. You don't have to be here. Like, anyway. But then, yeah, he got there. And the lady letting people in, she let in a couple of VIPs, and then she let the dude in that had, because that dude that was originally ahead of us, he's a trooper, man. He stood there the whole time that we were gone for photos, because I'm guessing he didn't have a photo op or whatever. He stood there the whole time. So she let him in, and then she let in like another 2 VIPs, and then she let me in. So like she mingled us in with the VIPs. So that was really nice of her. And so I was just like, I was in there in this little tent area, and I thought I was going to die. And because at the photo thing, you don't really talk to him. You know what I mean? You talk to him long enough to be like, could we do this pose? And then that's it. You know, like I thanked him and that was it. So when you walk in, it's like a long table, and there's one guy, that you talk to first, and he asks you if you have something to sign. Because if you don't, you can pick like these other kind of like, they're not like a thick quality like a photograph paper, but they're like kind of like a thin poster, like a thicker paper, but they're like printed posters kind of like. So like you could pick that or whatever. If you have something great, but he has a little post-it note, and he basically says like, what do you want him to write? So he'll say like, do you want it personalized? Like, and I wanted him to write my name. So he's like, what's your name? And so on this post-it note, he wrote my name down, and then he's like, do you want him to write like a certain message? And I was like, no, I didn't think of anything, you know, like he's like, do you want him to write like a certain phrase? And I was like, no, like he can write whatever he wants to on it, you know? And, he's like, are you sure? And he's like, there's no like certain thing you want to have him write. And I was like, I didn't think of anything, you know, like I didn't know that was a thing. Like, let the man write whatever he wants, you know? Like, I don't know. And he's like, that, okay, you know, like that's fine. And, so like, that's what he does. And then he hands me the little paper, and I go down the table, and then before David Harbour, there's a woman, and she takes the, like in my case, the book, or like she takes whatever from you, and she takes the little paper, and her job is to put it, like, she's like, where do you want it signed on the cover? And like, I said, yeah, but like she was going to stick it on the outside, which this is like glossy. And I was like, not the outside. So I was like, she's like the inside. And I was like, yeah, like the inside, like the page inside, you know? And, she's like, okay. So then she stuck it inside. So like her job is to position it wherever, just so he has an idea once it gets to him, like what you want it to say and where you want it to say. So like, then she slides it over to him. So then you walk down, and now here I am face to face with David Harbour. And he smiles. He smiles, you know, and he's like, hi. And he's like, what's your name? And I was like, Heather, which I'm sure I'm like, you know, like spazzy, you know. And he's like, that's a beautiful name. And I was like, you know, I'm sure he could see just like cartoon hearts everywhere, I'm sure. And I was like, just thank you, you know, like I don't even know what I possibly said, you know. And he wrote, you know, like he was, as he's doing that, he had written my name in the book, and then he wrote a heart and signed his name. So, you know, he basically wrote, Heather loves David. David loves Heather. That's, you know, we love each other. And and he was like, I was wearing I don't know if you can see it in the pictures very well. No, not this shirt, but I was wearing my shirt where it's Hopper when he just got out of prison, the Russian prison, when he's like all bald and in his prison outfit. And he's like, I really like your shirt. And I was like, thanks, he's my favorite actor. Duh. And he like smiled, you know, and I said, I don't remember if I said anything else, because like my brain is so just ditzy with, you know, I was absolutely just, but when I had tried for days upon days to think of what to say to this man, I just ended up blurting out. I was like, I'm sure you hear this all the time. I was like, I love you so much. And he just like smiled, and he's like, it's always nice to hear that. And he's like winked at me, and then he like took my hand, and I was just, the next moments were an absolute blur. Heaven. It was heaven. I'm sure he probably just shook my hand, but you know, in my mind, we basically got engaged right then and there. I mean, I picture he's going to come hunting me down Prince Charming style at any moment, and we're going to get married. You know, I'll let you guys know when. You will all be invited. I'll let you know. But yeah, David Harbour and I are, you know, basically engaged, basically. So that's my David Harbour story. So that's what's been going on. I love him. Yeah. A little crazy. I don't remember ever being this starstruck, love struck, crazy, fangirling, pretty over the moon still. I am caught between bouts of silent contemplation and extreme excitement. Yeah, so I can't believe that I met him. I did not know until I got home. Joe told me that you can bring them gifts at Comic-Cons. Had I known in advance, I really wanted to bring him his own Hopper's Cabin blanket replica. If he ever does another Comic-Con that I can get to, I plan to see him again and bring him one. Since I don't think, like, when we were kids and there were like stars, there was always those, you know, like, write to them here and you can send things here, and you know, there's nothing like that anymore. So you can't just send off something that I know of anymore like that. But if I ever get to meet him again, he's getting a Hopper Cabin blanket. That's what I really wanted to bring him. But yeah. Don't tell Fozzie, but it is hands down the greatest moment of my life. And I met Leonard Nimoy. Not at like a convention either. I met him like backstage, like one-on-one backstage at a book reading that he did in New York City. And this was like a bigger moment for me. I think up until then, Leonard Nimoy was probably it, but sorry. I'm sorry, Leonard, but I'm very happy Heather right now. Yeah, very happy Heather. This is like the longest video I think I've ever done, you guys. I think. Yeah, there was a lot to catch up on though, and David deserved his own video, really, but I just really wanted to catch you guys up on everything. I'm so excited. Yeah. And true to my word, I literally he said that to me, took my hand, I just full on blushed, and I know he said it was nice meeting me, and I was like, it was so nice meeting you too. And then when I walked out, I grabbed Damon's arm and I marched him out of Comic-Con and we left. Because I would have stood there and cried. I know I would have. Like, I was on the verge of tears multiple times. Yeah. It was yeah, it was. Yeah. It's pretty great. It was pretty great. So, that's where I've been. I should probably shut up and end this and stop fangirling for the camera, and I could just continue to fangirl in private. And yeah. All right. So I love you guys. I will try not to be gone quite so long, and I will try to get over all of my fangirling energy before I come back. So now I've gotten it out in the open. Yeah. All right. I love you guys. Thanks for dealing with me. I hope you've made it this far. Let me know if you made it to the end of this video. So, all right. I will talk to you guys soon. I love you. Bye, guys.